Hi folks, it's an absolutely beautiful spring morning. No wind. Can I see any wind? No, not a bit of wind. I looked at my phone to see what the temperature was this morning and my phone said it was 6 degrees. It feels warmer than that. I'm already feeling like I probably don't need my coat. So what I thought I'd do is, I realised it's a year since lockdown started and a year since I've been making little video clips, and so I thought I would have a little revisit to the place where in the first lockdown particularly it was really special to me. I must admit that this third lockdown I have found quite a lot harder, and I think it was down to the longer nights, not being able to get out so much, and kind of not being so much in nature. But now spring is here and I can just feel my enthusiasm and kind of excitement welling up. So yeah, I just thought we'd have a little wander and I'd share some of the things I'm excited about with you. So this is Sanctuary Beacon, which is a lovely bit of heathland. I've been here on many walks. I think I've shown you quite a few of the sites. It's mainly this kind of very exposed open habitat, but there are some lovely little patches of scrub and also some woodland as well. And so one of the things that I think I miss large areas of woodland in living in West Cornwall. And so what I've come to appreciate are these little scrubby patches, how great they are as little sort of micro habitats, little niches. It's the first place you get birds singing. That's something I've just noticed the last couple of days. Sunrise is about 6:30 at the moment, and yeah, I've just noticed that the birds are getting ready for spring, getting ready for mating season. So what I thought we'd do is have a look at some of the shrubs and trees that are just about to start coming out. And I thought I might do this one differently. I don't know whether this is going to work out, but I'm going to give you a quiz. So when we identify trees and shrubs, what we normally go by are the leaves. And of course during the winter we don't have any leaves on the broadleaf trees, so it's more difficult. But there are clues that you can look for. The buds give you clues, the bark gives you a clue, the shape of the overall shape can be useful as well. I recommend, there's a good book, if I can get it out without dropping you in the mud. Didn't plan that bit very well. Yeah, this book I find really useful. This is the Reader's Digest Guide to Trees and Shrubs. It's got a really good winter twig section in it. So let's have a look at this one. This is the one I'm standing next to, and it's just ready to start bursting out. Can you see those little tiny buds there? That doesn't tell us very much about what it is, so we have to look for some other clues. So the shape of it gives me a clue, and the fact that it's got these great big spines. Can you see these spines here? One there, little one there, little one there. Some of these spines are absolutely huge and really vicious looking. Look at this bit here, look. Look at that spine. And that spine there, enormous things. I've actually stepped on a piece of this when we were clearing some in my steel toe cap boots and had the spine go right through the bottom of my boot into my foot. So we know it's a thorn, and that's as far as I'm going to tell you. I'm going to leave it to you. What I might do is come back in a couple of weeks or so and have a look and see what it looks like. Now's the really good time. I don't know if I said that at the beginning. Now's a really good time for learning your winter twigs, because you only have a couple of weeks to wait to see whether you got the right answer. So you can have a look, see if you can get it, look in the books, look online, and then if you can't work it out, just wait, and then the leaves will come out and that will confirm your or disprove your identification. Right, just grab the bag and we will head off. So the next one I'm going to show you is this one. Now, quite different in shape, quite a large tree, thick, chunky buds, almost ready to go. And the colour of the buds is important. Can you see that this is a green bud with a little hint of red, but mainly green, chunky buds, quite thick twigs. So that's number 2. Right, let's head on over to Tony's Woods. So it's a little bit of a walk from here, and I don't want to have to spend the next few minutes wittering away, so I think I'll pause the video and see you again at the entrance to the woods. Right, we're at the edge of the woods now, and I'm going to head in, and this first one is almost ready to burst into leaf, or into flower in fact. So look at those little things there. No leaves to be seen yet, so you have to go by other clues. So this is number 3, and what we have to look for are, remember, the shape of the tree. This is quite gnarly, the bark's quite rough, but there's quite a good clue on these ones. Look at all these shoots that are coming up, long, straight, bendy, almost as if you could do some basketry with them. So there's your clue what this one is. So that's number 3. So, whoops, into the woods proper we go. Oh, looks like the horses, the ponies that are on the beacon have been in here. Still looking almost wintry, but there's a certain quality to the ground flora. It's starting to green up now. I can notice the first shoots of the bluebells, and the moss is looking green. Got some celandine around, that lovely little yellow flower. I'll show you the celandine if we see some. It's very beautiful in here. These trees fascinate me. Oh, I nearly gave it away and told you what they were then. These ones look really old to me. I think these are coppiced, which means they were cut down to their base a long time ago, and then just have been allowed to grow. So where you've got all these twisted, tangled trunks, I think you can see them coming out from single bases, like a single trunk, or a stool as it's known when it's coppiced. Yeah, definitely going to be bursting into life very soon. So this is the same as number 2, this one. Another look at those big chunky green buds, and quite a tall tree with smooth bark, lots of mosses and lichens on it. And over here, this one's started to go for it. Now, what you'll notice on this one is it's got a very light, easy to scratch, it's quite soft bark. It's got a distinctive, if you scratch the bark and smell it, it's got a very distinctive smell, and it's green underneath. Let's see if I can get you in to show you that. See that green? So this one, some other clues I could tell you is that it has beautiful flowers and then berries on it that are very useful, nice to eat in certain ways. So this is a berry of some sort. There's a bit of folklore associated with this. Apparently if you cut this down, you incur the wrath of witches, so I've heard. Right, so that's number 4. Just noticed here behind me, can you see that kind of growing together, pushing together? We've got 2 different trees there. So we've got an example of number 3 with the long whippy bits coming up, the one that would be good for making baskets, and then the one with the very smooth bark and the big chunky buds growing next to one another, having a bit of a fight there, trying to get the space, I think. Right, how are you doing so far? Got any of those yet? Into the wood. Oh look, some kids have been having fun. Nice lockdown activity, making a camp. Good stuff. Yeah, it looks like horses have been through here. I haven't seen that before. That's quite unusual. But that was quite a ride. If it was a rider coming through, it might have been the ponies, of course, that live up on the beacon, but perhaps they wouldn't have got through the gate. So this little patch of woodland is known as Tony's Wood, and it was originally just scrub, I suppose you would say, or car is the other name for it. But the local tree warden, who's died now, he spent a lot of time planting. So there's quite a few species in here that you don't normally find in this part of the world. But it's good to come and do a little bit of your tree IDs here. Right, now we've got a few of these trees that are around me. The distinctive thing about them is they've got these multiple stems all coming up from the base, and then these nice straight stems which are very flexible and are useful for making things. And this one is not far away from bursting into leaf. Very tiny buds, but soon these will be, yeah, they're just starting to green up, these ones. So the best clue for what this tree is are these stems. Look at that. That would be lovely to make a walking stick with, something like that. And there's a few of them around here. Look at that. So what are we up to? Number 5, I think. Right, this one, I think this tree isn't very distinct in the way it grows or its bark, but it does have one absolutely unique clincher that tells you exactly what it is, which is these. See those? These look like cones, and I suppose you could call them cones, but they're not cones like you would find on a conifer. These are actually the seed heads of this tree, which will normally they grow near water, and the idea is these float. That's what the trees come up with as a method for dispersing its seeds. This will drop down into a stream and then float along in the water, and then also in the spring. So that's the seeds. We've also started to get the flowers. It has catkins as well, but that's the thing that will help you identify this. So number 5. Another one of those. I'm not going to tell you. Really, it's really hard not to tell you, but I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to bite my lip and see if you can identify them like this, and then if not, I'll tell you, or I'll come and show you when the leaves come out. Right, here we go. This is another lovely tree. A very pale bark, smooth pale bark, although when it gets bigger the bark does start to crack. But look at the buds, big chunky black buds, and that is absolutely distinctive. Diagnostic, I think, is the technical term for this particular species. So what's that one? Number 6. Oh, got you tangled up in the branches there. Now the last one I think we're going to do. Oh, they're starting to come out into leaf already. I left it too late. So, do you remember the very first one? I actually forgot to show you the bark of the first one. The first one had a very dark, smooth, purplish sort of bark, and then those really big thorns. And this one kind of looks similar at first glance, but it's got thorns, but they're much smaller. Can you see that thorn just there? Still quite sharp, quite jabby. Ow. Yeah, quite sharp. But the bark is different. It's got a much paler bark, and as soon as it gets to any size at all, the bark starts to crack. It starts to go kind of gnarly. So a much gnarlier, paler bark. And then another thing which sets this one apart is that this one, at this time of year, next few weeks, has leaves appearing, whereas the other one, the first one I showed you, has its flowers come out first. So when we come back in a couple of weeks and have a look, probably that one will have flowers but no leaves. This one does it the other way round. This one goes leaves, and then in about May time, flowers. There's a clue. Right, I think that will do. Whoops! Oh dear, I'm getting you really tangled up on. There was one other tree that I did want to show you, and I've ended up walking past it, nattering away. So I'm just going to walk over here. I think when Tony was doing his planting, he planted quite a few of this type of tree. So I'm going to take you out and see if I can. I'm sure I can find one. You can see these have been planted because some of them have still got their tree guards on. Yeah, that is one, but it's kind of suffering. I think there might be some squirrel damage going on. Okay, this one will do. This one should be. So some leaves, even though they've got, even though they're deciduous trees, i.e. they lose their leaves in the autumn, some of the leaves have got enough tannins and other chemicals in that almost act like preservatives, and the leaves don't rot away. So this tree has still got last year's leaves on it. So that's a really good clue. If you can find the leaves, obviously that's a really big help. But even if you didn't have any of these leaves on, which would give it away, one thing which really kind of sets this tree apart for me, it's a strong kind of gnarly looking tree, but the thing that is distinctive is the way the buds are organised. You get these big chunky clusters of buds right at the end of the stems. So if you see that, that's pretty distinctive. You can see those. So it looks like there's about 3 or 4 buds all about to shoot out at the same time. Oh, and then right up at the top, I'm going to have to tip you back a little bit. Ah, those things. Can you see those? So those are They look like they're fruits, but they're not. They're galls. They're made by a parasitic wasp, and so they're a little growth on the tree. So that's another clue. That's a nice, easy one to finish off with. So you can let me know below if you think you've cracked it, and if not, I'll come back out with a camera and show you in a couple of weeks, see where we've got to. Okay, I hope that was interesting, hope that was fun. Speak to you again.